Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Thank you so much for tuning into this video in which we will look at volume and capacity. Volume and capacity measure the exact same thing, they just use different units. So let's look firstly at the units. So this here is a cube that is 1 meter cubed in volume. That's the definition of a meter cubed. 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter. It's a meter in 3 dimensions: length, width, and height. What would be the volume in centimeters cubed? Well, we know that 1 meter is 100 centimeters. There are 100 centimeters in a meter. Meters to centimeters times 100. So the volume of this cubed in centimeters would be 100 centimeters times 100 centimeters times 100 centimeters. 100 times 100 times 100 is actually 1 million. 1 meter cubed is actually 1 million centimeters cubed. Even though there are 100 centimeters in a meter, there are 100 cubed or 1 million centimeters cubed in a meter cubed. So when you are converting cubic units, much like when we were converting square units, you need to cube everything. So that means you need to cube all of these blue, black numbers that are called conversion factors. So, for example, there are 1,000 meters in a kilometer, but there are 1,000 cubed or 1 billion meters cubed in a kilometer cubed. So these are all units of volume. How do we convert to units of capacity? Well, note that a centimeter cubed and a milliliter are literally the same thing. So 1 meter cubed, it's 1 million centimeters cubed. That means it's 1 million milliliters. So if your can of Coke holds 375 milliliters of Coke, that means it holds 375 centimeters cubed, because a centimeter cubed and a milliliter are literally the same thing. Now, to go from milliliters to liters, you divide by 1,000. That's what milli means. Like a millimeter is 1,000th of a meter. A milliliter is 1,000th of a liter. So if I divide this number by 1,000, I get 1,000. 1 meter cubed is actually 1,000 liters, or what's known as a kiloliter. Kilo means 1,000, just like kilogram means 1,000 grams. So you can use this chart here to convert between units of volume and units of capacity. Centimeter cubed and milliliter are the exact same thing. There's 1,000 of those in a liter and 1,000 liters in a meter cubed. So for example, if you wanted to convert, let's say 0.8 centimeters cubed into millimeters cubed, so if we follow our chart up here, we're in centimeters cubed, we want to go to millimeters cubed, we times by 10 cubed, which is 1,000. It's actually 800. So even though there are 10 millimeters in a centimeter, there are 10 cubed or 1,000 millimeters cubed in a centimeter cubed. Now, whenever you're going from a larger to a smaller unit, you always multiply because there are more of the smaller unit. All right, let's now look at finding the volume and capacity of prisms. So for prisms and cylinders, you can use the formula volume equals AH. A is the area of the base and H is the perpendicular height. So all prisms have a base, a shape that is repeated at the front and back or top and bottom. They have a consistent cross section. That's what makes them prisms. So this here is a rectangular prism. So for the base, I'm going to call it this shape here. This rectangle is the same at the front and the back. That's its cross section or base. So the area of the base is just 8 times 6. So 8 times 6 obviously being 48. That's the area of the base, and then you times by the height of the prism. So by height of the prism, we mean the dimension that's perpendicular to or 90 degrees to the base. So in this case, the height of the prism is 10. When you're finding the volume of a rectangular prism, it's easy. You just multiply the 3 dimensions together. You get 480, and we're in units cubed. So this will be centimeters cubed. Remember, a centimeter cubed is a mil, so this will hold 480 milliliters of liquid. All right, let's try this one here. This is a triangular prism. So its base or cross section that is repeated is this triangle here at the front, and then there's another one at the back that's the same. So we need to find the area of this triangle. So the area of the triangle is base times perpendicular height divide 2. Now the height of the prism is the dimension at 90 degrees to the base. So here it's 15. So the volume is 10 by 6 over 2 is 30, area of the base, times 15, which gives us 450 meters cubed. That's the volume. If I want the capacity, I'm just going to change it to liters. 1 meter cubed is 1,000 liters, so times by 1,000, this would hold 450,000 liters. This would actually be massive, like the size of a building, which is why it holds so much liquid. All right, let's try a cylinder. So a cylinder is technically not a prism because it doesn't have sides, but it works for all intents and purposes as a prism. We can still follow the rule, volume equals area of the base times the height. So here, the area of the base is the area of the circle. The base, the shape that is repeated here is this circle. Top and bottom, same circle, same size. So how again do we find the area of a circle? It is pi times radius squared. Now, in this case, the diameter is 20, so the radius is 10. So pi times radius squared, that's the area of the base, and then we just times it by the height of the prism, 25, the dimension perpendicular to the base, and we can put that straight in our calculator. So we get 7853.98 centimeters cubed. I've rounded that. So that would be 7853.98 mils, because a milliliter and a centimeter cubed are the same thing, which is about 7.85 liters. So again, to go from centimeters cubed to liters, you divide by 1,000. All right, let's now look at some harder examples. So in these examples, we will use the volume to find a side length. So a cube holds 64 liters of water. Calculate its side length. So we saw this before in a previous video. When we're using a measurement, so volume, area, whatever, to find a dimension, like a side length, we always start by writing the formula. So the volume of a cube is going to be the area of the base times the height. But in a cube, all the dimensions are the same. So the area of the base is going to be a square, s squared, and then the height is also going to be s. The volume of a cube is just s cubed, side length cubed. Okay, now we're going to substitute what we know. So we can't substitute V for 64. So why is that? Well, S is a unit of length, so it's going to be in like centimeters, meters, whatever. 64 is a unit of capacity. We have to convert between the two. So note that 64 liters is the same as, if I times it by 1,000, 64,000 centimeters cubed. So I'm going to substitute V for 64,000 centimeters cubed. So V is 64,000 centimeters cubed. So the way I undo cubing is cube rooting. So S will just be the cubed root of 64,000, which is 80. And because this was centimeters cubed, this will be in centimeters. So if a cube has side length 80 centimeters, it will hold 64 liters of liquid. All right, let's try this one. Cylinder holds 1 liter of liquid, height 16 centimeters, calculate its radius. So we're going to start by writing the formula, volume equals area of the base times the height. Now the area of the base for a cylinder, it's a circle. So it'll be pi times radius squared. Volume equals area of the base times the height. Now let's substitute in what we know. Once again, I can't substitute 1 for V because this is a unit of capacity. I want this to be units of length because the radius will be a length. So 1 litre is 1,000 centimetres cubed. So I get 1,000 equals pi r squared, and h I'm told was 16. So dividing each side by 16 gives me 62.5 equals pi r squared. So note pi is just a number, 3.14159. So if I want to undo timesing by pi, I can just divide by pi. So dividing each side by pi gives me this. Now that means I have r squared. I want r by itself. So what I'm going to do is undo squaring by square rooting. So it's the square root of 62.5 over pi. Now note, when you're solving for r, you need to undo things in the opposite order to BIDMAS. So when I got to here, for example, BIDMAS is brackets index. This is an index. It comes before multiplication. That's why I undid the multiplication first. You have to undo things in the opposite order to BIDMAS. So it's really important that we divided by pi first, then square rooted. All right, the square root of 62.5, if you put it on your calculator, you get about 4.46. Once again, because this was centimeters cubed, this will be centimeters. So the radius is about 4.46 centimeters, and we're done. All right, thank you so much for tuning into this video. This has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Have a great day.